see if we are live. We are live. Okay. And for those of you who may have been waiting, I apologize and hope you're still here with us. We are chatting with Adele Royce this evening, and the 10-minute delay is on me. So welcome, Adele. It's so nice to have you with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I want to just say that I am the author of a series called Truth, Lies, and Love in Advertising. And today I believe we're going to talk about my most recent release in the series, which is Princess Smile.
We are going to, absolutely. And we want to hear about the series, and we want to hear about the book itself as well. So why don't we start? Tell us a little bit about the series, and then I may have a question or two about you, but we'll take it one step at a time.
Sure. So there are 3 novels in the series. It's all about the world of advertising. It's all set in Los Angeles, which is where I grew up. And the central conflict is these 2 characters, my protagonist, Jane Mercer, in the first 2 books. And then I switched over to my antagonist, who was a villain, and I wrote from his point of view in my 3rd book.
Oh,
but
wow.
Yeah, so the series, yeah. So actually, if you want to talk about Princess Smile, this was actually the first book I ever wrote. And
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and I released it. I released it last, and so this is actually book 1. I released Camera Ready first. That was book 2, and then For Position Only was 3, and then I went back and I published this book. So that's kind of an interesting thing, because I did it sort of the way, I guess you had to compare, it was like the Star Wars way, 2, 3, 1, right?
Right.
So.
By the way, since this is your first chat with us, I will say, if you occasionally see me appear to look away and type, I'm not ignoring you. I'm typing in the comment section for our readers to let them know they can post questions for you, and I'll pass them on so you can answer them in chat. And sometimes reading what their questions are. So I am not, you're not losing my attention.
No problem.
I thought I should let you know that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
So now the world that this series is set in is familiar to you, correct? You've had a sort of a background yourself in marketing and advertising.
Yes, so there's an old saying called write what you know. I certainly took advantage of that to create this series. I have been in the marketing and advertising business my whole career and have seen pretty much every aspect, the good, the bad, the ugly, the glamorous, and the very much unglamorous. And so I thought it would be so much fun to create this fictional series about these characters who, you know, are working in this industry, and have it be the backdrop and really a part, and give people a look into the sort of doorway of this industry. Because I know people, a lot of people ask about it, but it's really fun to give them an actual taste of what it's like.
Well, I would imagine, now you said that you grew up in LA, but I've just made a jump in my mind. I'm probably wrong, that you worked in marketing in LA, or was that elsewhere?
I actually grew up in LA, but the lion's share of my career was in Las Vegas. So that's where I did most of my marketing. And with LA, I just thought it would be so much fun because it was my home city, and I enjoyed going back. And every scene in these 3 books, all of them were places that exist.
Mm-hmm.
And that I visited and that I sat in. And there's a scene particularly in Princess Smile where I actually sat in the venue and at night and was able to really get the visual details. So I wanted to feel the readers to feel like they were there, whether you've lived in LA, you visited it, you've never been. I've had people who have never been to LA and say, I could see it. I felt like I was there.
Right. Well, and whether you're in LA or Las Vegas, I think what was in my head still applies, is that both town cities, I imagine, can be fairly ruthless in almost any profession. But yeah,
Not at all.
I would assume in marketing as well. So you don't have to say anything actionable, but did you base your, I will say, did you base any of your characters on perhaps not individual people, but pieces of people? Or is this all imagination?
I mean, good question. I think some of my characters feel like composites of even myself, like good qualities. This, you know,
I
you
would
can
hope so. I mean,
find
I would think,
things.
yeah.
But really, what I did is, because I didn't want to replicate anything that I'd actually experienced. But what was fun was taking people who I made up, fictitious characters, putting them together and figuring out like how they could interact in situations which, you know, I've actually been a part of, you know, launching a show, doing a red carpet, you know, how could it be funny? How could it be, you know, really, really fun, and also give the reader a glimpse, and a realistic glimpse into what could actually happen. So I guess my answer is composites, made up people, made up situations, but put in situations where I was able to go, this is probably what would happen if these types of personalities were doing this at this time in this place. Yeah.
So what can you tell us about Jane?
Jane Mercer. So she is my protagonist in Princess Smile, and also in Camerati. So, and I write from first person point of view. So you're getting her as a character. My voice essentially is not as the author, it's as Jane. And she, you know, she has a rough time, especially in this book. This book is different from the others. I mean, the central conflict of the series is the relationship between Jane Mercer and Craig Keller. But in this book, you get sort of her coming of age story, you know, where she came from, what is her dilemma, you know, what are some of the things that are going on. You know, she's getting to the point in her career where she's getting a lot more responsibility, but she's encountering a lot of conflict. And so that's kind of what this book, and then of course the meeting of she and Craig Keller, who becomes this incredible force that follows her throughout these 3 books, that she's just meeting them here.
This is in, so Princess Smile is technically the prequel to
Yes.
the other two, well, to Camerati, and then, okay. So tell us a little bit then more about, I'm sorry, I just blanked on the name, on Craig.
So Craig is this guy who he comes into the story. I mean, you encounter him as a reader in chapter 1 of Princess Smile. So Jane hasn't met him yet, but she's, you know, he's in magazines. He's been voted, he won some entrepreneurial award. So all her colleagues that, you know, they're talking about him, and she's sort of building this person up in her mind to be sort of that Prince Charming, and who he could be anything but she doesn't know that. So you follow her sort of getting this impression of this person who she finally meets and gets involved with in a lot of different ways, both professionally and personally, and finds that it's a really hard road to follow.
So what do you want the readers to come away with when they read Princess Smile, besides the immediate desire to read Camerati?
Gosh, I hope so. I hope that's the takeaway. I mean, honestly, I want my readers to have fun. I wrote these books to be very entertaining and to be an escape, and to go into a place that doesn't exist in real life, but it feels very real. I have people who get very emotional about my characters. They get very angry with Jane, or they get angry and they can't stand Craig. I mean, I call him the man that you love to hate. But I think what I want is for the reader to just have fun, go into this world. You know, it's meant to be entertaining, and it's meant to be relatable. A lot of people relate to Jane. A lot of women relate to Jane, and especially in this book.
So I know we talked a few weeks ago, because your website and the book covers and all just seemed perfectly time to the whole Barbie phenomenon. I almost wore a pink shirt today just in honor of the chat, but I couldn't find what I was looking for. But I know we wouldn't necessarily call Jane a Barbie, but how would you place her in that universe as sort of a woman figuring herself out? Kind of, I guess we're referring to the Barbie movie, not Barbie the toy, obviously.
Yeah, so funny you should ask that, because this book was conceived of way before the Barbie movie, and the pink was selected way before.
Almost the perfect Barbie pink at the back.
It is the Barbie pink. You know, it's so funny. I picked that PMS color. It's like, I like this color pink for this novel. And of course, and it ties into the logo, which is the lipstick print. But I think I mean, there's really no comparison between this book and the Barbie movie, although the Barbie theme, meaning Barbie as the persona, as the doll, as it comes up, and that Jane actually refers to a couple of her colleagues who are perfect and always dressed and coiffed perfectly as Barbies. And that all happened before the Barbie movie, but it was, and you get a little bit of Barbie references in, you know, in the story, you know, about women maybe feeling pressure to look perfect and to be that Barbie person, especially in LA. But yeah, no real relationship other than that.
Gotcha. Well, and the Barbie pink on the cover, which is just, I love that.
Perfect timing, right?
Perfectly timed, absolutely. So I think that you have an excerpt to share with us today. Do you not?
Yes, I do. So I selected one because I already kind of laid the foundation of, so she's not met Craig. Jane has not met Craig. She's building this up in her mind. And then there's this meeting, of course, there's the chance meeting. So, and it happened at a place called Shangri-La, which is a hotel in Santa Monica, right on Ocean Avenue, across from the beach. I wrote about the place and took a lot of pictures and really tried to make it seem real, but I'm just going to read a short one. This is Jane's voice. She's at this party at the Shangri-La for her, it's like a business industry party. Okay, and she says, every ad agency in town had representation here. I made my way toward the pool where a crowd was building and cameras flashed. The evening air was cool and crisp and the moon was full, hanging bright and low. There was obviously a celebrity in one of the private cabanas, so I headed in that direction to see who it was and felt one of my stiletto heels get stuck in the teak floorboards. That was it. I tripped and fell in my new Chanel. Champagne spilling everywhere, purse and contents flying. My foot had come out of my shoe, which stayed stuck between the floorboards. Horrified, I quickly tried to recover my shoe. The dim candlelight was not helping in my quest. It was dark and I could barely see anything. After tugging on the shoe several times, it finally came free. I crawled around on all fours to find my bag and gather its contents as a man's deep voice offered, "May I help you?" I looked up and with the light of the shining moon recognized Craig Keller of the fabled Keller Whitman Group. He was holding out his hand. Trembling, I accepted it and he helped me up. I clutched my shoe and thought about all the hours I had spent researching him over time. I had seen so many pictures of him, it made no sense to see him in person. He had become an unattainable computer-generated myth. He might as well have been a cartoon character. "Are you okay?" he asked. He was even more magnificent up close, and his gleaming white teeth, light eyes, and dark hair. But there was something else about him, something the photos couldn't begin to capture. It was a charisma of sorts, an aura of charm. And so fireworks fly.
Yeah. So I assume that the aura of charm will not necessarily last that long.
I think that diamond might lose its luster quickly. Poor Jane, though.
So now all 3 books are available now, correct?
Yes, and they are available. You can go to my website, which is adelroyce.com. You can go to the Writerspace website and get there. And they are available in all formats. You can get them on Apple Books. They're available in audiobook. And you'll find that the voice talent that I hired to do Jane is much better than I am.
You did a really good job. I was there. I could feel the, the little teak walkway and and the moonlight. Oh, I was there.
So
So
yes,
you mentioned your website and of course Writer Space, but before you go, I definitely want us to go through all the places people can find you. So AdeleRoyce.com, obviously, and
yes.
we'll post that as well underneath the chat. But where can they find you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram as Adele Royce Author. I'm also on X under Adele Royce. I have, and I'm also on Pinterest. So you can kind of find me wherever you want to. But yeah, definitely check out my website, because I did a little bios on all of my characters. And so you can get a snippet of what they're like and what their personalities are. I tried to make that something that readers could check out before they buy a book.
And yeah, there's a lot of cool things. If you scroll down a little bit on the webpage. Now, when you first get to the webpage, I was going to tell people that if you don't remember all the social media places we just listed, that's fine. Go to AdeleRoyce.com. Up at the top, down at the bottom, you'll find links directly to her social media, and you'll find them on her page on Writer Space as well. But yes, there's a lot of cool extra material if you go to the website that I think that you'll really like, and you'll get to see lots of little character snippets and who everybody is. And Princess Smile is a great way, obviously, to get pulled into the series because it's the prequel. And do you establish all the characters in Princess Smile that they're going to meet, or?
Actually, no.
Uh-huh.
I establish the main characters, but what happens is that, like in Camerati, there's a character who several characters who are more prominent. Maybe a couple from Princess Smile have dropped off, and then in For Position Only, I was faced with a whole new protagonist. So he didn't have the same friends, he didn't have the family Jane had. So I had to pull some of those characters in from, while he's looking at them from his point of view, but then create the relationships that were most important to him as well, his family, his friends, if he has a couple friends. Any friends.
Do you know yet if the series is going to continue beyond For Position Only?
Actually, I just finished a book that is technically, it's associated with the series because I use a lot of the same characters, totally different genre. I move into a thriller slash mystery. Yeah. So, but it technically, I'm using a lot of the same characters, and it's really fun, and it's set in Las Vegas, and I'm hoping to have that one out before this summer, next summer.
So the same universe then? The
same universe. Yes.
Gotcha. So I have to ask, what does For Position Only refer to? Maybe it's a marketing term, but.
Yeah, so the book titles, camera ready is a marketing term, as we all have know. For Position Only is something we say when an ad is not complete. So if there's
it's a mock-up.
Yeah, it's for placement. So there's a photo in there. It's basically not complete. And because I was dealing with a person, my protagonist, who was really, really struggling and he needed some help, I felt that was a really good title for him, because
he was not ready.
The ad that's not complete and not ready to go out in public.
Very cool. Well, I'm so glad that you came and chatted with us tonight. Again, I do apologize for those of you who missed us early. But you can now, and those of you who may have left and gone away, the video is going to stay up on the Facebook page, and you can watch the whole thing in its entirety. And we'll be hopefully talking with Adele again soon. We can chat about Camera Ready, we can chat about For Position Only, and then when the next book in the universe that's set in Las Vegas comes out, we can chat about that one. So we'll have lots more chances to chat with Adele as well. But before we go, is there anything that we have not covered about Princess Smile or about the series that you would like for us to know?
I feel like we've covered everything. The one thing I wanted to put out there is that if you do readers want to get in touch with me, just email me, Adele@AdeleRoyce.com. And yeah, I'm just pleased to meet everybody who's here, and I hope you have fun with the series.
I think they absolutely will. If you go to her website and you read about the series, you're going to want to read the series. So, but I think we probably convinced them of that just in our chat. But fingers crossed.
Right.
Well, thanks again for joining us, Adele. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Sissy. I appreciate you guys. All right.
Bye bye.